It's not every day that a shooting victim can pick up the phone and call emergency services to get help, right? This incident makes you stop and wonder, how could this happen? How did someone who once stood in the international sports spotlight end up caught in such a tragedy? Today, I want to share a story that, at first glance, seems almost unbelievable, but like life itself, it's much more complicated than it seems. Is it possible that constant pressure and a persistent feeling of danger could push someone to their breaking point? Let's dive in and see. It all started with a seemingly normal relationship between a student and a coach that turned into a nightmare. Michael Barisone, a 58-year-old, had spent his entire life proudly standing among champions. But in the spring of 2022, he found himself in a courtroom in Morristown, New Jersey, defeated. The once regal rider appeared as a disheveled shadow of his former self. It was one of the biggest falls from grace in the elite world of equestrian sports. How did a champion end up on trial? In August 2019, shots were fired at a horse farm in Long Valley, New Jersey. The shooter, Michael Barisone. Few could have imagined that this calm, composed man could ever pull the trigger. Michael was an Olympic equestrian, one of the best trainers in the world. He coached other Olympians and represented Team USA at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Michael was a top dressage rider, renowned in the equestrian community, and many young riders eagerly trained at his farms with his team of coaches. He owned 2 stunning horse farms, one outside Palm Beach and another in New Jersey, called Hawthorne Hill. On this 53-acre equestrian paradise, dozens of horses grazed in lush green pastures, an open riding arena, and a beautiful indoor ring that attracted equestrians from all levels. Laura Osborne and Chelsea Westra, 2 of Michael's students, trained under him and saw him as a disciplined coach who liked to keep everything under control. In exchange for working at the stables, they received free lessons from him. The year before the tragedy, Michael met Lauren Kanarek, a 37-year-old woman who aspired to be a dressage champion. Their shared love for horses brought them together in a meeting that would forever change their lives. Lauren had loved horses from a young age, drawn to their strength, freedom, and grace. Her father bought her first horse when she graduated high school, and she dedicated herself to equestrian pursuits. By the time she won her first amateur competitions, Michael had already established his name in the sport. She admired his skill and precision in dressage and dreamed of training with him. When Michael invited her to train at his New Jersey riding club, she saw it as an opportunity she couldn't refuse. Their arrangement, however, was unlike any Michael had made before. Lauren paid $5,000 monthly for lessons, boarding her horses, and living in an apartment on the property. Initially, the relationship went smoothly, and Lauren was thrilled with her training. But over time, Michael noticed she was quite demanding, frequently dissatisfied with the training she received from his assistant, and even from him. Despite this, Michael couldn't simply end his arrangement with her as the income was necessary to support his expenses. By the summer of 2019, tensions between Michael and Lauren had reached a breaking point. Lauren wanted exclusive attention from Michael, but due to his busy schedule, he had delegated much of her training to his assistants, Justin Harden and Mary Haskins Gray. This arrangement was standard at his farm, where clients worked with both him and his assistants, yet Lauren was unhappy with it. Her frustrations mounted, and she even saw Mary as a rival for Michael's attention. On July 31st, 2019, Michael called 911, saying, "There's a war going on here, and something needs to be done. I can't take these people anymore. I need them gone." By that summer, social media had become a battleground, with Lauren airing grievances that escalated the tension. She posted cryptic and sometimes hostile messages, referring to a chess game in which she depicted Michael and Mary in ominous roles. Over the following weeks, she continued her campaign, writing posts that hinted at conflict and danger. Lauren also claimed that she was concerned about her horses' well-being, alleging that they were mistreated at the farm, which harmed Michael's reputation, even though no evidence supported her claims. The situation took a dark turn when farm employees discovered hidden recording devices that Lauren and her boyfriend, Rob, had placed around the property. Lauren stated she used them for her safety, but her actions only added fuel to the fire. On August 3, 2019, at 9:35 a.m., Michael the police again, describing Lauren and her boyfriend as stalking him. Despite his pleas, the police considered it a landlord-tenant dispute. Then, a few days later, on August 7th, a social worker arrived at the farm following a complaint filed by Lauren accusing Michael of bullying, harassment, and intimidation. Although she reported no physical violence, the investigation added stress to an already tense situation. For Michael, this was the final straw. Overcome with emotion, he grabbed a gun and drove to the farm where Lauren and Rob were staying. What happened next is unclear, but it is known that he confronted Lauren and shot her twice. Lauren, severely injured, managed to call emergency services herself. When the police arrived, Michael was arrested and later charged with 2 counts of attempted murder and unlawful possession of a firearm. Lauren was hospitalized in critical condition, underwent emergency surgery, and was placed in a medically induced coma. During the trial, Michael's defense claimed that Lauren had manipulated him emotionally, leading to his mental breakdown. His lawyers argued that Lauren's actions amounted to gaslighting, pushing him to a state of temporary insanity. The court found him legally insane at the time of the crime, ruling him not guilty by reason of insanity, which meant he was not held responsible for his actions. After the verdict, Michael was sent to a psychiatric hospital, where he remains under treatment until deemed fit to return to society. This case has sparked widespread debate about who the real victim is. Was it Michael, driven to desperation, or Lauren, who paid for services that she felt were not delivered? Both sides of this story raise profound questions about responsibility, mental health, and the consequences of unresolved conflicts. In November 2023, Michael was released, though he continues to receive psychological treatment. Meanwhile, Lauren has undergone numerous surgeries and has returned to horseback riding. The story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek reminds us of the fine line between personal conflict and catastrophe. It leaves us questioning, when does a perceived threat become real, and what limits will someone cross to defend themselves? Both Michael and Lauren's lives were irrevocably changed that day, each bearing scars of a conflict that escalated beyond control. This story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek serves as a reminder of the complexity of human relationships and the fine line between passion, ambition, and desperation. While Michael was once a respected figure in the equestrian world, admired by many and trusted with the training of future champions, the pressure of dealing with a high-maintenance client like Lauren became a burden he could no longer carry. In his view, his life and career, built over decades, were under constant threat from a single individual whose expectations went beyond what he felt was reasonable. Lauren, on the other hand, saw herself as a paying customer, investing heavily in her dream to become a champion. She felt justified in her demands and increasingly frustrated by what she saw as a lack of personal attention from the renowned coach. Her use of social media to publicly express her dissatisfaction fueled a storm that only intensified their conflict, drawing others into the fray and making their personal struggle a public affair. As the situation spiraled, each action they took seemed to push the other closer to a breaking point. For Michael, this led to a moment of desperation where he saw violence as the only way out. For Lauren, it was a wake-up call, a harsh consequence of pushing too far in a situation that had already reached its limits. Even after the trial, questions remain. Did Lauren's behavior truly push Michael to temporary insanity, or did he allow his emotions to cloud his judgment in a way that he could have avoided? Was Lauren's use of social media to air her grievances justified, or did it create an environment of hostility that led to the tragic events of that August day? The court's ruling of not guilty by reason of insanity sparked controversy, with some seeing it as a miscarriage of justice, and others viewing it as a necessary acknowledgement of the mental toll that constant harassment can have on a person. Supporters of Michael argue that his actions were those of a man driven to the edge, who simply couldn't bear the pressure anymore. In contrast, Lauren's supporters see her as a victim who trusted a mentor but ended up fighting for her life, due to a betrayal she never anticipated. This case shines a light on the emotional intensity that can arise in mentorship relationships, especially in high-stakes fields like competitive sports. It also emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries and handling disputes constructively before they escalate. Both Michael and Lauren, in their own ways, allowed resentment to build up to a point of no return. Their story underscores how unaddressed issues and unresolved tensions can lead to catastrophic outcomes, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Ultimately, the tragedy of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek's story is a cautionary tale of ambition, conflict, and the devastating impact that unresolved grievances can have. It serves as a reminder to all of us that even in the most high-pressure situations, communication, respect, and mental health should never be overlooked. As the story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek continued to unfold, it left lasting effects not only on their lives but also within the tight-knit community of competitive equestrians. This tragic incident, with its layers of ambition, conflict, and psychological breakdown, highlighted the need for support systems and mental health awareness in high-pressure environments. For Michael, his release from the psychiatric facility marked the beginning of a long journey toward healing. Once a revered Olympic coach, his reputation had suffered a massive blow. Though his supporters saw him as a victim of manipulation and mental strain, others viewed his actions as a disturbing reminder of what unchecked emotions can lead to. The debate surrounding his actions and their justification left a lingering impact on his career, complicating any potential return to the equestrian world. For many, the once revered coach would forever be associated with that fateful day in August 2019, a reminder of the dark side of fame and pressure. Lauren, on the other hand, faced her own challenges after the incident. Physically and emotionally scarred, she underwent numerous surgeries and a lengthy recovery process. Her return to horseback riding was seen by some as a victory, a testament to her resilience. But the controversy surrounding her relationship with Michael continued to shadow her. While some saw her as a victim who bravely stood up for herself, others questioned her role in the events that led to the shooting, believing that her relentless pursuit of validation and attention may have contributed to the tragedy. The incident sparked discussions within the equestrian community about the pressures faced by elite athletes, particularly the weight of maintaining success and the dangers of unaddressed mental health issues. It raised awareness about the potential for conflict when professional boundaries blur and personal expectations spiral out of control. Coaches, trainers, and athletes began to recognize the importance of managing mental health, especially when under the constant pressure of high-stakes environments. Many equestrian centers, inspired by the lessons of this tragic case, began implementing mental health resources and encouraging open communication to prevent similar breakdowns. This story also served as a powerful example for society at large about the potentially devastating consequences of unresolved conflicts and unchecked emotions. It highlighted how personal vendettas, when brought into the public eye, can escalate beyond control, leading to irrevocable consequences. The trial and its controversial verdict continued to fuel discussions about legal accountability, mental health, and the fine line between self-defense and premeditated violence. The case of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek remains a somber reminder of the complexities of human relationships, the fragility of mental stability, and the importance of conflict resolution. While both of them moved on in different ways, their story became a lasting cautionary tale, a reflection of the dangers that lurk when ambition, ego, and emotional instability collide. Their lives, once intertwined through shared passion, now stand as a reminder of how quickly dreams can turn into nightmares when communication fails and resentment is allowed to fester. In the end, the real lesson may be a call for empathy, understanding, and vigilance both in our relationships and in the way we navigate our professional and personal lives. For every unresolved conflict, every unspoken grievance, and every ignored plea for help, there lies the potential for outcomes that no one can anticipate. The story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek serves as a stark reminder that the human psyche, under enough strain, can fracture in unexpected and tragic ways, leaving questions, regrets, and lessons for all those who remain. The aftermath of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek's story extends beyond just the individuals involved. It has reverberated through the world of competitive sports, especially within the equestrian community, highlighting the need for increased support, mental health awareness, and stronger boundaries between personal and professional relationships. This incident sparked critical discussions around the pressures placed on elite athletes and their coaches. The life of a professional athlete or trainer is often depicted as glamorous, but beneath the surface, there is an immense amount of stress, isolation, and the fear of failure. The intensity of these pressures can lead individuals to overlook their own mental health until it is too late. For many in the equestrian world, this case served as a wake-up call. Various organizations began to reevaluate their resources, implementing programs to support the mental well-being of both athletes and coaches, understanding that maintaining a stable mindset is just as crucial as physical training. Additionally, this tragedy exposed the potential consequences of unresolved conflicts within the insular world of competitive sports. In a field where reputation is everything, and word travels quickly, the escalation between Michael and Lauren revealed the darker side of how unresolved personal issues can spiral, impacting everyone involved. Equestrian centers and training facilities began to emphasize the importance of establishing clear boundaries, encouraging clients and coaches alike to communicate openly and constructively. By promoting an environment where concerns could be addressed before they reached a crisis point, they hoped to prevent similar incidents in the future. The legal proceedings that followed also raised thought-provoking questions about the intersection of mental health and legal accountability. The court's acceptance of Michael's temporary insanity defense sparked widespread debate about when mental instability justifies violent actions and whether such a ruling should absolve someone of responsibility. Supporters of the verdict argued that Michael was driven to the edge by emotional manipulation and gaslighting, which ultimately led to a psychological breakdown. On the other hand, critics questioned whether this ruling set a dangerous precedent, allowing individuals to escape consequences by claiming mental instability. The trial became a focal point in discussions about the justice system's handling of mental health issues, with some advocating for more nuanced approaches in cases involving psychological distress. For Lauren, the scrutiny she faced after the trial was intense and unrelenting. Social media, once a platform she used to express her frustrations, became a double-edged sword. Supporters of Michael rallied online, openly criticizing her behavior and even sending her threats. Many viewed her actions as toxic and damaging, while others empathized, recognizing her as a person who felt betrayed and wanted accountability. This backlash underscored the often toxic role of social media in high-profile cases, where public opinion can swing dramatically and individuals on both sides can face harassment and judgment. The ordeal shed light on the need for restraint and empathy in online discourse, particularly in sensitive, personal matters that impact real lives. As time passed, both Michael and Lauren took steps toward rebuilding their lives. For Michael, his release from the psychiatric facility marked a complex transition. Although he was free from legal consequences, the emotional and psychological scars of the incident remained. Reintegrating into society after such a public and traumatic experience posed new challenges, and he continued to undergo therapy to help him manage the aftermath. He found a new chapter with Laura Osborne, a former student who had once worked at his farm, hoping to leave behind the turmoil and restore some semblance of peace in his life. Lauren, despite facing widespread criticism, demonstrated resilience by returning to horseback riding, a testament to her love and dedication to the sport. However, her journey was far from easy. The physical scars, the psychological trauma, and the lingering public scrutiny meant that her return to normalcy was filled with hurdles. Her experience highlighted the resilience that survivors of trauma often display, yet also pointed to the importance of a strong support system in helping individuals navigate the complex emotions that follow such incidents. The tragic story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek has left an indelible mark on the equestrian community and serves as a stark reminder to society at large about the fragile nature of the human psyche under prolonged stress. It emphasizes the importance of addressing mental health issues, especially in high-pressure environments, and recognizing the potentially devastating consequences of unchecked emotions and unresolved conflicts. Their story is a powerful call to prioritize mental well-being, foster open communication, and ensure that support systems are in place to help individuals cope before they reach a breaking point. In the end, this case remains a complex web of ambition, betrayal, mental instability, and tragedy. It raises questions that linger long after the verdict. What can be done to prevent similar incidents in the future? How do we strike a balance between accountability and compassion in cases involving mental health? And perhaps most importantly, how can society better support individuals in high-stress environments to ensure that no one else feels compelled to take such irreversible actions? The story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek stands as a solemn reminder that behind every high-profile conflict are real people, grappling with emotions, struggles, and personal demons that the public eye rarely sees. The aftermath of the Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek case resonates as a cautionary tale, highlighting key lessons in mental health awareness, professional ethics, and the complexities of interpersonal conflict within elite sports. For those directly involved, the incident transformed lives irrevocably. For the broader community, it catalyzed a shift in awareness and policy. One of the most enduring legacies of this case is the emphasis it placed on mental health within the competitive sports world. Historically, high-performance athletes and coaches have often viewed mental health as secondary to physical prowess, assuming that resilience and stoicism were part of what it takes to succeed. However, Michael's breakdown underscored the necessity of support networks and mental health resources, even for those at the pinnacle of their fields. In response, many equestrian centers, as well as organizations in other sports, began to integrate mental health professionals into their staff, offering workshops on stress management and conflict resolution, recognizing that managing mental well-being is integral to sustainable success. Additionally, the case shed light on the potential pitfalls of blurred boundaries between personal and professional relationships. In many high-stakes sports environments where athletes, trainers, and clients share close quarters and sometimes even live on the same property, it can be challenging to maintain clear professional boundaries. Michael's relationship with Lauren, initially based on shared goals and professional respect, became increasingly fraught as emotions escalated. This case emphasized the importance of defining roles and setting expectations clearly from the outset, not only to protect each party's interests, but also to avoid emotional entanglements that can disrupt focus and safety. Another outcome of the case was a shift in how social media is perceived within the equestrian and broader sporting community. Lauren's use of social media to voice her dissatisfaction, combined with the intense backlash she received afterward, highlighted the risks of taking personal grievances public. Social media has become an influential platform, but as demonstrated here, it can also inflame conflicts and impact mental health. Following the case, discussions around responsible social media use became more prevalent, especially among public figures in the sports community. Coaches and athletes were reminded of the power and potential hazards of online platforms, leading some organizations to establish guidelines for digital conduct, encouraging athletes and staff to address conflicts privately and constructively rather than in the public eye. On a legal front, the case raised challenging questions about mental health defenses and personal accountability. Michael's defense of temporary insanity due to alleged gaslighting tactics by Lauren was both controversial and thought-provoking. The court's decision to absolve him of criminal responsibility by reason of insanity was met with mixed reactions. Advocates for mental health rights saw the verdict as a recognition of the severe psychological impact that manipulation and emotional abuse can have. Conversely, critics argued that it could create a precedent for excusing violent actions, leading to debates about where the boundaries of legal insanity should be drawn. The ruling prompted some calls for a more nuanced legal approach in cases involving psychological distress, suggesting that courts consider mental health as a factor while still holding individuals accountable to some degree. For Michael, adjusting to life after the trial has been a journey fraught with reflection and introspection. Though he escaped a lengthy prison sentence, he now faces the ongoing challenge of rebuilding his identity in the wake of a shattered reputation. For someone once celebrated as an Olympic figure, the task of regaining public trust is a steep one. Michael's journey post-trial has highlighted the personal cost of such incidents, demonstrating that, even with a favorable legal outcome, the path to personal recovery can be arduous and filled with challenges. Meanwhile, Lauren's experience serves as a sobering reminder of the potential consequences of unfulfilled expectations and unchecked ambition. Though she endured life-threatening injuries and a prolonged recovery, she remains determined to continue her equestrian pursuits, showing remarkable resilience. However, the incident left her with a complicated legacy within the equestrian community. Supporters view her as a victim who paid a high price for standing up for her rights, while detractors question her actions leading up to the tragedy. This polarized perception has served as a reminder to aspiring athletes of the importance of managing expectations and navigating disappointment constructively. As the equestrian community moves forward, the legacy of Michael and Lauren's story remains woven into its fabric. Their tragic conflict has become a touchstone for conversations on mental health, conflict resolution, and professional conduct. Many trainers now approach their roles with a renewed focus on mental well-being, recognizing that supporting an athlete's psychological health is as crucial as enhancing their physical skills. The case has also fostered greater awareness around the potential consequences of unresolved personal disputes, encouraging trainers, clients, and athletes alike to seek mediation or external support when conflicts arise. In the end, the story of Michael Barisone and Lauren Kanarek is more than just a tragic chapter in the world of equestrian sports. It is a reminder of the fragility of human relationships under stress and the importance of empathy, boundary setting, and mental health care in high-stakes environments. As society continues to grapple with the complexities of mental health, personal accountability, and public scrutiny, their story will likely endure as a cautionary tale, underscoring the need for compassion and understanding in a world that often demands perfection. Their lives, forever altered by that fateful incident, serve as both a warning and a lesson, echoing across the broader landscape of professional sports and beyond.